when there is no lack, we will share. It will. You cannot imagine it. We have not lived in this society where there is love, in the mode of love. It's a big difference when you feel fear and when we are in love. It's a big difference in your life. It will be the same at the level of humanity. It will be the paradise.
Like really, it's super exciting. Okay, and we focused a bit on the AI that can replace us as workers and be our governing system, right? It's not a government, it's a governing system, like a system that can take and understand every individual's needs. So we represent ourselves, it manages everything, and we just supervise the AI. That's all we need to do.
Right, hello and welcome to this Paradism conference. I have with me two guests. First guest is Jarel. Jarel originally from France, living in Australia. He's a planetary activist and spokesperson for Paradism, as well as chief editor of Paradism.org website. He's an electrical engineer who specializes in automation and computer science. He's also the author of a book called Paradism is 100% Unemployment. Thank you, Jarel, for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Shanti.
We also have with us Sylvain Rochon. Sylvain is an acclaimed futuristic and international speaker with 20 years of experience building technology companies and educating in intersection of human psychology, biotechnology, chemical engineering, and more recently, artificial intelligence. He's the author of the book, Engineering Paradise, Are You Ready? The book was published in 2018, and he's currently a professor at the National University in India, as well as the co-founder of tech startup Psychometrics, and the co-founder of the Alliance of Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact. Thank you, Sylvain, for being with us as well. It's a pleasure to host this conference on this incredible concept of paradism. So we'll start with you, Jarel. If you could just give us some background summary about the concept of paradism.
Paradism is a system of society of the paradise. There is a special way to organize society when you live in paradise. There is no work. Everybody is happy. Everybody enjoys doing what they love doing. So that could be the definition we can give tonight for the paradise. It is a society where we only do what we enjoy doing. So the paradise that is coming is a technological paradise, thanks to the new technology we have now. We have robots and AI. Robots can do the work, and when they do the work, we can enjoy to do everything we want to do: create, meditate, play, because we transform the earth into a paradise. We will live in beautiful places, like a bit what I have behind me. We will beautify the earth. And we will put all the production underground, and the robot will do the jobs, the work, and we will blossom in a paradise. And the system of society will call it paradism.
Beautiful, thank you. Who would not want to live in a paradisic society? So we can go back a little bit to the history and then move on to the future. So what are the historical shifts in societal organizations corresponding to different modes of production? And how does the change in mode of production leads to the shift in societal organization throughout history?
Yeah, I can answer to that if you want. But we are living a very important time in history of humanity. We are changing our mode of production. And each time we have changed our mode of production, we have changed our level of society. we started with the original society. We were hunter-gatherers, we were nomadic, and it was tribalism. And then with the agrarian society, the next civilization is the agrarian civilization with the domestications of plants and animals. And then we had to settle in villages and to work the land. It was a completely different lifestyle. So we have to change everything. And we had also to protect ourselves. So we had to have an army and a warlord because we had to protect ourselves against the barbarians, the nomads, those who didn't accept that we take over the land. They didn't accept private property. So that gave rise to feudalism. And then with the Industrial Revolution, with the arrival of the machines replaced the animals, and we had a complete different lifestyles. We had, thanks to the machine, we could produce so much more, and we had to live in cities. So we moved from the country to the cities where the factories were concentrated. So it changed completely our lifestyles. We enjoy so much more products, and we had now consumerism and capitalism. That's a new system of society we have been living. That's a system of society we have been living with the Industrial Revolution. And now we are transitioning to another new level of civilization thanks to the arrival of the smart machines, robots, and artificial intelligence. We will change completely our mode of productions. Everything will be produced by robots. The production will go underground, and we will create a beautiful paradise for us to live in. And that will change completely our lifestyle. And that's what's coming. And we call this new system of society Paradism.
Beautiful, thank you. So how do you envision the future of societal organization in the face of technological advancements like AI automation, for example?
Sorry, do you ask me the question?
It can be for you or Sylvain, transitioning to a futuristic concept of societal organization with applications of AI technology. How do you see that affecting?
Hi. Yeah, the transition is what we don't really know about so much. It's something that we need to design. What we are pretty sure of is what the endpoint is. Like Jarel was describing Paradism. We know that AI, like we're going to have augmented artificial general intelligence probably between now and 2029, 2030. What that means is that it's a human level intelligence that is artificial, right? So it's able to do to think, reason, quantify, have basically a machine type consciousness equal to human or superseded it. So in the current system, which is capitalism, democracies, and all that, it's inevitable that we will develop these machines because of competition. Every company is trying to compete. Every company is investing in AI, trying to make the best AI. That's most intelligence in a competitive environment. So we know that the forces of production and capitalism will replace the worker because they always want to be more competitive. And the consumer, us, we want always more customization to our tastes. We want cheaper and we want faster. So the consumer is in fact driving the companies that are developing the AIs that will ultimately replace us as workers. So we end up in a conundrum economically that forces that change into a Paradism type society, where the worker that is making the income that is spending can't have a job anymore and therefore cannot spend to consume what they're actually desiring, what actually is driving the change in the economy. So we have to create a new system that is what we describe, where people don't need to work in order to consume. We designed all these economies from the past, like Jarel was describing the different economies. They're all designed so that we could consume, we could survive, like have food, a roof over our heads, luxuries eventually, and so on. So the transition between now and the Paradism society is one of potential turmoil. We have to create parallel mechanisms that allows people to keep consuming while we're developing the infrastructure and the AI and the mechanisms that will support the Paradism. This is yet to be designed, and the transition is still very much in discussion and unknown. Not a lot of people are talking about it, except for one concept that I've been discussing for many years already, which is the universal basic income. That is something that is discussed by many nations, including Canada, a lot in India, Europe, and different nations, sometimes in Africa as well, because that at least allows some form of redistribution of the generated wealth of a nation, which is a mix between right now AI robots and human labor. And as we transition humans outside of the productivity chain, then we'll have to kind of amplify this mechanism of redistribution and change our mindsets and get out somewhat of the capitalism type of thinking and competition into a world where all the machines are essentially doing all the productivity and management of production and resource extraction and so on, and we are exclusively consumers. And that's what we were, Jarel was describing, where people are basically, it's a leisure society where people don't need to worry about things being produced like food and lodging, and can just basically enjoy. So this transition, that's why I wrote the book, Engineering Paradise. It's an effort to create this transition and to create the endpoint. We don't know what it actually looks like in detail for our society. We need to design it and build it. And that's the interesting challenge. One thing we have to remember, and it's often forgotten by most people, is that the economy is not something that we have to put the pedals on to keep alive the way it is. And a lot of governments and a lot of individuals are trying to keep the economy alive. No, the economy is there to serve us. It always has been. The economy is about extraction, production, and manipulation of resources. And we are slaves to it. And we're so embedded into it that we're trying to keep it alive because we kind of link it to our own survival. The economy as it is has to be kept alive to keep us alive. What we need to change in our minds is, no, we can create a new one that is better and more suitable, that serves us. We don't serve the economy serves us. So it's a redesign process. And I think it does start with a lower hanging fruit of a UBI. I think that's a good idea. And then there's going to be other steps in the transition. And transition is going to happen very quick. We're talking about super intelligence in 2030, human form robots in the billions by 2030 that'll replace the physical workers, blue collars, AI replacing white collars. That's before that. The transition is going to happen really, really quickly.
If you don't mind, I would like to speak about the universal basic income. You propose it as a transition to Paradism, but it is not the only possible transition. I would prefer that we make the products free as we go, because we will be able to have free energy. Once we have free energy, we can make the robots to build everything for free and produce the food, the shelters, the clothes for free, and everything that is essential, that we need, that is essential for us to survive, should become free very quickly, instead of giving a basic income that give not a that will make it more difficult to transition to this free society. But we can make the products free as we go, as much as possible, as many as possible, and that will mean that we will have to nationalize the means of production. Remember that we want to end up in a society where nobody is working and nobody is owning the means of production. The community is owning the means of production. It's a form of communism, but very different to the communism we have experienced, because nobody is working there. It's freedom. Everybody is free to do exactly what they want to do. So they don't have to work. And it's an utopic form of communism. So by making the products free, we will arrive smoothly to this society where everything is free and we don't have to work.
Yes, indeed, and there will be a transition from the old to the new. If we can touch about that, how do people or societies how can they balance the sense of security and freedom? Because sometimes we receive a sense of security from leadership, but we don't have freedom. So how do we balance the two with this transition?
Yeah, this is interesting. If you don't mind, I'll answer to this. There is, living beings have two operating systems. We have two operating systems. The one is when there is danger, it's a flight and fight response. We prepare to fight, and we are motivated by fear. And the other one is when there is no danger, and we are safe. We repair, we grow, and we are motivated by love, and we switch from one to the other in case of danger. So it's true for human beings, but it's also true for every living beings, for animal, plants, but also cells. And what is interesting is to consider humanity as a living entity, just like a society of bees or ants can be considered also as a living entity made of living beings, like we are made of cells. Humanity is made of human beings, who are the cells of the big body humanity. And humanity has also runs also with the two operating systems, the one when it is in danger and the one when it is in love. And what is very interesting to understand is we are transitioning right now with the arrival of the smart machines that we are transitioning to a society without fear and into a society with love. We are switching the automatic or the operating system of humanity from fear to love. And we have two different ways to run this. When we are in fear, we have two different sets of emotion and behaviors, and it's the same. When we are in love, we roll completely differently. We use our higher functions to direct the body, and when we are in fear, we use reflexes. We use the primitive brain, we are reptilian brains that we call. But in society, it will be the same. We have been running society through fear. So through fear, what do we have as leaders? We have leaders who are warlords, who prepare us to fight and who prepares for danger, and we want security, and that's what we look for. But once we start to live with security, when we don't have to struggle to survive, then we don't want to have tyrants to direct us. We want to be completely autonomous and do what we enjoy doing. And by doing what we enjoy doing, we will also contribute to the well-being of the whole community. When I do what I enjoy doing, I also do exactly what is necessary for the whole community to be happy. And so we will have leaders that we choose completely differently. We will choose the best leader possible for this new society. We can.
And
If
in
I-
Paradism, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, can I comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, the where me and my colleagues would put a lot of thought is in this this mindset change, in fact, that Jarel is talking about, where how do we change the mindset of fear to a mindset of love, right? Like, what's the mechanism? Because right now it's all fear. In fact, in 2019, just before the COVID pandemic, right, just before that, where everything accelerated, in fact, and for AI and a lot of things, there was a survey in Canada. This was in Canada. And one of the questions was to just workers, like normal people of all stripes. It's like whether or not they were afraid of their jobs, to lose their jobs, like generally. And it was like 83% of Canadians surveyed were afraid of losing their jobs. So they felt insecure, right? And then COVID happened, and that cranked up the volume because of the insecurity around disease, the decisions that were made and all that stuff. And now now it's AI. People are afraid, well, about their jobs. Like, what am I going to do? It's an identity crisis, right? It's like, who am I? And like, people still think they are the worker. That's their identity, right? So to get to that point of love that Jarel was talking about, where the parasympathetic neural system is active and people want to share, give, and collaborate, you have to get out of the fear. You have to go into the love. So that's a bit of a transitional challenge, right? We have to teach people a different way of seeing. We have to give them the vision, give them the possibility of something that is different, that they are not a worker. You are not designed to be a line worker, to be a machine, to produce things. You are designed to be human, to be love, to be interaction with others, to give value in a different way. Your value is not into production. And I think there is a way to illustrate that for the general population, right? Because people don't think very deeply generally, right? They are followers mostly, 80%, right? Show them past a threshold where AI is better than them at work, and show them through maybe wise decisions in different nations, maybe it needs to be communal and so on, that they are perfectly fine and valuable, and even more valuable as a human, without, like, with the AI doing their job, right? It's fine, you're okay, you have food, you have your house, you have your leisure, and the robot is taking care of your job, and you're okay. If you can show that to people, that this vision and also in the reality, then the mindsets will change almost automatically, because people will feel comfortable. It's like, okay, I have everything I need. And then the dynamics, the human dynamics that are inside us, our own programming, will kick in. It's like, I have value because of my neighbors, because of my family, because of my activity in society, because of what I give, not because I'm a good worker and I'm producing widgets and manage my computer and spend hours. So we need some leadership and some loud voices in media, influencers, that speak that message, leading towards that a visceral, direct impact on the people that can see for themselves what it is like to live in a paradism type of world. And there's going to be a lot of a snowball effect from that and the tipping point, I think. And so there's a lot of it comes from different types of leadership. That includes celebrities, influencers, even perhaps of some governments, although don't depend on the government to be forefront of this. They may be, but it probably won't be. It would be global organizations and mega influencers, most likely, that would drive that need. So and the work that we're doing, things like that, like give them a vision.
Yes, I would. The transition, it will be in every domain of society: political, economical, social, religious, spiritual, every domain of society. And the most affected, the one who will make a big difference is the political system. The political system we have now is made for a humanity that is struggling for survival, when we live in scarcity, where we have to compete, when there is not enough for everybody, we need to fight each other we live with the fear of scarcity. So we compete all the time between individuals for jobs and between nations for resources. So we have wars and everything. But once, thanks to this technology, fantastic technology, once we have the abundance, there is no need to compete. We can actually relax and say, well, it's no need to have an army anymore to fight each other, because we can share. Yeah, and that's why this is very important, to stop living in fear and realize that there is no need to be afraid of anything, of lacking. Those who have are afraid to lose, and those who have not are afraid to lack. But now, with the technology that is replacing, that is producing abundantly for everyone, with free energy, making free everything, there is no lack. So when there is no lack, we will share. You cannot imagine it. We have not lived in this society where there is love, in the mode of love. It's a big difference when you feel fear and when we are in love. It's a big difference in your life. It will be the same at the level of humanity. It will be the paradise. We will really live in a paradise. And how we will be the political transitions, the politicians will be replaced, because now with the technology we can be represented directly by an AI. An AI can listen to everybody individually. We can express our needs and our desires to an AI, and the AI will manage and will optimize society, the resources, the food, everything, so that we optimize the well-being and the happiness of everybody. So we will have a complete different political or economical system. Economy will disappear, because economy is the science of how do we distribute scarcity. When there is no more scarcity, is about how do we produce everything for everybody. The science of economy will disappear, actually. And the political science as well, because we don't need representative. Once we have AI, once we have but the AI will be supervised by possibly the one who will select as being the best possible person to supervise the AI. And they are the most intelligent people among us. We call them the geniuses. And the system that we envision, that we imagine for this paradise, it's a system where the best people are supervising the AI. That's the only job that will be required. And those people will do it because they feel it, because they enjoy it, because they like to be at the service of humanity. And those people, we will identify them and select them scientifically, objectively. And that will be how the society, the society will be run. So it will be completely different. The jobs will disappear, but it also includes the politicians and the most of what the government is doing now.
Yes. Speaking of politicians and leadership, we're talking about warlords and the rich and the powerful kind of leading to where we are today.
Because they are still in this mentality of scarcity, of lack. They don't realize that we have enough we have more than enough for everybody. And thanks to this new technology too that are coming, maybe you can talk about that a little bit, Sylvain, about this nanotechnology and this the biotechnologies that are coming, that will we won't have to have cattle, or everything will be done biologically.
Yeah, I can comment on that. Actually, there's everything's coming at us at once. Like really, it's super exciting. Okay, and we focused a bit on the AI that can replace us as workers and be our governing system. Right? It's not a government. It's a governing system, like a system that can take and understand every individual's needs. So we represent ourselves. It manages everything, and we just supervise the AI. That's all we need to do. Right. So that's on the governance and management of resources. So we can eliminate things like, we waste about 30% of our food because of how we manage things. AI will do a lot better, like near zero waste. Taking care of the environment, that whole concern about carbon, of all the molecules and what should be in the atmosphere, what should be in the ground. The AI will be able to manage that way better than us, without the competition and all the struggles and fighting that we have with each other about competition, all that stuff. But there's a lot of other technologies that are kind of sneaking in, unknown to most people, that are part of this. One is longevity. That's a big one. The first human trials of the first longevity drugs are underway right now. So this is a drug. It's a simple, cheap drug. I mean, they won't sell it cheaply at first, but the molecule itself is natural. Okay, it's will probably add a few years to our lives, and that gives us more length of time of healthy lifespan to get to the new treatment and the new treatment. Right now, like my friend who works in the research in longevity says, like the first 1,000-year-old person has already been born. Right. So if you're less than 30 years old, you will not die of old age, and you'll be healthy for hundreds of years. Okay. So that's a healthcare element that is really important. So you have the abundance and you can enjoy everything for a long time without the pain and suffering of old age. Okay. That's massive. Now, about all this damage that we're doing to the environment that we hear about. Well, we have the capability to do vertical farms now. That's way more effective to produce food in general, like vegetables and fruit, and mostly vegetables. But also we can do cultured meat now too. So instead of having these vast farms where we have cattle and the chickens all stuck together in slaughtering farms and egg farms, we can manufacture that inside the cities with starting from cells. And we can do that way more efficiently, which allows the wildlife to come back, the beautiful wildlife that we have, the balanced ecosystem, come back into the farmlands and take over. So we essentially can have, like you can see in my background, can have cities that are producing everything healthy, cell-based, and all that stuff inside the city blocks, and nature can take over and provide our lungs, like our oxygen and beautiful scenery and animals frolicking naturally all around us. So we can have that. And AI is controlling everything hyper effectively. And in nanotechnology, because that's another element. Like we can within the next 10 years, we'll have all the tools that allow us to eliminate all genetic problems, deficiencies, or difficulties, which is another healthcare element. using CRISPR-Cas9 and other genetic engineering techniques, we are now able to hack the human cell using either mRNA technology or other technologies that will progress over time. So basically, we're looking at an abundance of resources where people can be relaxed and not fear not anything. A governing system that is self-iterative and evolutive to the service of mankind. A healthy society that live basically forever, with minimal fear of pain and suffering, old age and whatnot. The only thing we have to take care of really is to legislate is the population, the amount of population. We have to keep the population low and sustainable. And that is something that's totally doable. It's not complicated. It's a human decision. So, and in that technology, so we even are designing like wearables, for example, and monitor everything in our blood. We can have little nanorobots inside our bloodstream if we need to deal with health if the immune system is insufficient. These are all things that are coming out within the next 10, 15 years, no more than that. So it's really a picture that sounds like science fiction. It sounds like Star Trek to a lot of people, like Gene Roddenberry's vision of society. But it's at our fingertips. It's happening now. It's not fantasy. It's things that we are developing tangibly.
What I think is important is not to be afraid of those technology, because biotechnology is one of the technologies that people are afraid of, and they are very cautious, but actually this technology comes to rescue us. There won't be any pollution with the biotechnology. Everything will be made in harmony with nature, biologically. So it is recyclable, and we will model nature, how nature find solutions to any problem. We can manufacture, we can produce any kind of material biologically, use biological energy, transportation, anything you want. We can fly in the air biologically, birds. We can do anything. Nature has shown us that it can do anything. So we have to copy nature, and all what we produce will be completely integrated with the recycled system of nature biologically. So that's important, not to be afraid of robots, not to be afraid of artificial intelligence, because what we should be afraid of is our stupidity and our fear. Because when we are afraid, we become stupid. We really shut off our higher functions of the brain, and we act with reflex. We do really dumb things when we're afraid. So we need to welcome those new technology and develop peace, love, to start to switch ourselves in the love mode. And that's what we are trying to do, to decrease the level of fear of humanity and bring love. And one of the tools we use to spread love is the development of meditation. I think meditation has a key role in this transition to this new society. Because what do you do when you're afraid? You breathe, you relax, and the best is you meditate. You stop thinking. All your fear comes with your thinking brain. So when you stop thinking and you live the moment, you are in meditation and everything is fine. You switch off the sympathetic system and switch on the parasympathetic system, the system of love, when you act with love, when you are motivated by love, and you can feel it. Your immune system start again, and when you are at peace, you rebuild yourself, you repair yourself, and you grow, you feel pleasure. So that's an important part of we have to do for the paradies, those who are spreading this new world, this idea of the new world paradism, is to bring love into society and to bring meditation, help the people meditate together, so the level of fear and aggressivity in humanity decrease.
I'd like to bring a note off of this, Jarel. This is really important. A note on robots. Okay, this sounds unrelated to the love concept, but it's really important. What we see as AI and robots and fear often, like at least in society, is losing control to the AI. What will they do? Right? Because there's a bit of uncertainty, right? So the idea that is circulating in my circles as a futurist is to make AI and robots our partners, because we know they'll be smarter than us, and we know they'll have a form of free will that is programmed, right? To be able to function as AI, they have to be able to learn and adapt, right? So to program them in such a way that they have emotions, like robot emotions, and I'll get into that maybe at another talk, that are aligned with our well-being and survival, so partners with us. And these are the mechanical robots we are familiar with in science fiction and so on. So the human form robots in factories and robot excavators and so on. But we have to think that we are robots too. Our pets are robots. Animals are robots. Plants are robots. They're just biological robots. We are machines of a different kind, just made of different materials, little cells that are machines. And within the cells are tiny machines and so on. We know this. And we are able to create life or adapt this type of robotics, biological kind, to our means already. So as we deploy these mechanical robots that are familiar to science fiction, we'll also a little bit later, most likely in the timeline, deploy partner robots, intelligence or otherwise, that are biological, to Jarel's point, to create a harmonious, symbiotic civilization. We're creating new beings that are allowing us to self-actualize, to take care of the production, to be entertainment, for whatever we want. We need to design these new robots, how they're made, that in symbiosis, that'll be with us. And so if you take that more design approach, that it's an intentional introduction into society, we don't need to fear them because we make them to be with us. We don't make them to dominate us. We make them to help us. Helping us by supervising, by being the governing system, by design, be better than us at doing that. And so the vision of the world in a number of years, 20 years, a little bit beyond, maybe it won't be long, is not like a world filled with mechanical robots like you see in science fiction. Because in most cases, you don't really want or need physical bodies running around. A lot of it is going to be invisible in the internet, in our wearables and devices and so on. And some of it is going to be biological. So it will be hard to identify the difference between humans or a real animal and the biological robots that we make, but they'll be partnering with us. This is the power that is in our hands and entirely under our control to do this.
Yes. And I could add that we won't see them because there will be nanorobots. Like nature does. Nature does everything and we don't see it. We just see the beauty. Everything happens at the macro level, at the macroscopic level. So we will just have to copy nature.
Beautiful. Thank you both for this Another topic I wanted to touch, you were talking earlier about the leadership and geniocracy. Can you expand a little bit about geniocracy, how people are selected to govern, and what could be a future without this type of political system? What are the options in terms of our future?
When we look at the human body, we have made our different organs. We have a liver, we have some skin, we have eyes, we have a mouth, we have a nose. And we are made of cells that are autonomous and sovereign. They do what they want, really. And every cell in the body has a function. It's the same in humanity. Humanity is made of cells that are human beings. And the human beings have all a function to do within the big body of humanity. Some are in the brain, some are in the foot, some are in the eyes, but they are all important for the whole body to be happy and feel good. So we will have to identify the people who are in the brain and actually in the consciousness of the big body humanity. Who are they? We'll find them scientifically. So those who are in the brain, we can call them the geniuses. You know, the geniuses, they are the every human traits or character or skills follows a bell curve, this bell curve. And so it's true for sport, it's true for the height, it's true for anything, but it's also true for intelligence. So we have to detect those who are the most intelligent among us scientifically, and those who are prepared to be the consciousness of humanity, to be at the service of humanity, to have what we call the quality of abnegation, to seek the happiness of others before your own happiness. And those people exist, and we have to identify them. And they are the ones who will run society. So we call this system geniocracy, because it's run by the geniuses, because we choose the most competent, the most capable people to do what they are doing. When you select a soccer team, you select the best player for your team. When you have a business, you select your best worker. And we need to do the same for the government or for those who will supervise the AI. But they won't be rulers. They will not govern us. That's very important. They are just here to supervise and making sure that the society, that our needs are fulfilled. They will really be at the service. But we will design the AI to be at our service. We don't design them to be intelligent, more intelligent. They will be more intelligent than us, but they will be completely 100% at our service, because that's how they will be programmed. And this is very important. There is no possibility for them to take over and rule us, because we won't design this way. It will be crazy to design them this way. They will be designed to serve us, to be our slaves.
Yeah, I think the key point here, like regarding governance, is that what we described before, AI takes care of the details. You have a supervising body that, like I described, that has awareness, consciousness, intelligence to supervise the AI for everybody else. And then there's going to be possibly other functions where we want to have different people that are in parts of the cell that are basically doing things for the service of humanity at different levels as well. This is completely contrary to what we're seeing today, what we've seen in the past. It's something we need to design, we need to think about, we need to just implement. As in a world of abundance, where there's no more competition for the resources and salaries, there's no need for all this busyness with people in positions trying to get different jobs and different situations and supervise and having a supervisor of the supervisor. All that stuff is gone. Doesn't exist anymore. People are all at the same level, just living their lives, generating value, not for an economy, for themselves and for others. Value that is human value. Raising children, having a family, doing entertainment for others. That's where people are going to be busy in a world of abundance.
Everybody will be free to express their creativity. That will be the most important activity that we will have, is to develop our potential. We are born with a potential, and we need to develop it. We're happy when we express it, and that's what we do. But we'll do with fun, because we like it. It's something we enjoy doing. We are made for it. And by doing it, we'll also contribute to the happiness of the people around us, and to the happiness of the whole society. So this is like the ants, like the bees live. They are happy doing their things to express their DNA, their potential to look for food and bring it back to the hive. But we'll do the same, but contributing to this big body humanity. We are all part of, we have a place in the big body humanity. We are part of an organ. We will have to find it. And once we find it, that's where we will blossom. And the societies, the robots, the AI will have to make sure that everyone finds their place in this society. So everybody is happy. There is no frustration. And this will really be paradise. Imagine paradise, in the paradise we have imagined. We even don't die. We live forever. We will one day be able to live forever young. That's how we imagine paradise. We know it will be scientifically possible. We are very close to that, to discovering this. You mentioned something, Sylvain. I can add that now we are experiencing on rats to reverse aging. Old rats who can hardly who becomes blind and are almost blind. We give them a certain substance to eat, and they can reverse their blindness and feel young again. And we are experimenting right now with this kind of technology. And so it's coming very soon. Everything is coming at once. It's fantastic.
Future is beautiful if we adopt this beautiful concept of paradism. So
yes, I think that's the most important message we need to tell the people. The future is beautiful. When I was younger, in my teenagers, there was a punk movement, and it was no future. How can you live in a generation who think we have no future? It was a Cold War, and now we are creating a depressed children with this new Cold War of no future. We are on the brink of self-destruction, and we need to be very, very careful in the next few years not to destroy ourselves, because we are at the gates of heaven, at the door of paradise. And we need to explain that, especially to the young generation, that they will have a fantastic and beautiful future.
The transition can be challenging, though, from the old to the new. What for you are the most critical factors of ensuring that a smooth transition to a new societal system?
I think I'm reminded a quote by Buckminster Fuller. I don't know if you he's an engineer from a while back. It says and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact words, So if you want to build a new system, you don't fight the current one. You have to build a new one in such a way that the old one becomes obsolete, right? So a smooth transition is not about fighting the current system like head on. That never works. But it's about building something new. Like right now, we're building AI in the commercial space. That's true. We're building AI. And governments are struggling with it, but they're on the side. They're not involved. It's companies and consumers that are driving that. So we're building that mechanism and robotics outside of the governing system, paving the way for people to think like, wait a minute, if I'm interacting with AI and I'm ordering food and everything, and the AI knows what I want, what I need, like, how come my government doesn't do that? Like, it makes no sense. Like, they kind of think like the governance system is obsolete because we have a way to do that with the commercial entities and all the companies. My personal agent AI knows exactly what I want, what I need all the time. But for my government, I still have to deal with an elected official that doesn't know me, don't have any interaction with. So that's an example of a transition. We're building multiple highways right now of that are paradistic, if you would, on the side. And it shows the individuals, because again, the individuals tend to not think a lot. They're busy with their own little lives, right? But show them something in their house, in their hands, and then they'll demand something that is different because they'll see and they'll experience it already in a different system. So that's how I see the systems actually working out. And there's a kind of switching. There is some, more than ever, there's been discontent with the governing system, more so in the latter years, and this is going to increase because of these realizations from the population. It's still going to happen. We're still going to take maybe a few years, and that creates that peaceful transition where we just say, well, we don't need that old system anymore. Just get rid of it. We have a better way to go about it. So that's how I'm seeing it, and it'll come from the forces from the people itself using the technologies on their own and making the realizations for themselves.
I see two groups of people. Those who want to hold on to the old system and those who are building the new system. And one group will be in fear, and for them it will be a very painful transition. And the other group will be in love and in action, building the new world. And it's very exciting to build the new world. You know, those who are working at the moment in OpenAI, working on artificial intelligence, it's very exciting. Those who are working on biotechnology and implementing them in real life, it's very exciting. So there is those who are building the new world are living the excitement. So the transition is depend on which side you choose, and we invite you, those who are watching now, to join the Paradis side, those who are willing to build the paradise on earth, because that's exciting for us. We have an exciting time to live now.
So what can individuals do to contribute to this transition and to prioritize well-being and cooperation in society in general?
But you know what? They know. We all know what we can contribute. If you're a painter, paint Paradism. If you are a writer, write poetry about Paradism. If you are an influencer, speak about Paradism. If you are an engineer, do the things you have to do. We all have a function in humanity. Express it. You are here to build this paradise. We are here at this time. It's a privilege to be actually born at this time, because what we are creating the world we want. We have it will be the most fantastic moment in humanity. imagine the enthusiasm, the love that we're gonna bring. It's you want to be part of it. It's the flower revolution, power 1,000 or power 1,000,000. It will be global, and be part of it. So you know what you can do to make the world a better place.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like in my talks, talk about the individual, really. Bringing the paradism is not a decision by one person, like a government or an entity like a government, and nothing like that's going to happen. It's not an organization beyond our control that will decide, okay, we're building this, because paradism is a billion different pieces. It's not just one thing. It's a whole system and mindset change everywhere. So the individual and your mindset and what you do in your life, in your profession, family life, whatever, all that stuff, what you do is most important, because we each hold a little piece of paradise in our control. So if you talk about it, like educate, like you said, Jarel, if you're an engineer, create it. You have the power of design, right? If you're a scientist, you can research it, like how can we best leverage nature and so on. And if we all touch our little backyards, our little piece of control that we have in our hands to build a little piece of paradise, and Jarel mentioned, take care of ourselves, meditate, be calm, get out of the fear cycle, and so on, paradise would be built. And organizations that have some level of power will decide after the fact to do certain things under their control because the population is moving in that direction. So it starts with the grassroots. It starts with you.
Very true. So we touched many aspects of paradism. Any of you have anything else to add on top of all that was discussed already, which is so rich?
Or I can emphasize this transition from fear to love. If you leave this transition in fear, you will fight. You will fight for the last piece of bread. You will be afraid to lack, and you may die. You may die among those who will fight each other. But if you leave it with love and understanding what's coming, and then you will share, you will cooperate, and together we can make it. If you are selfish, if you're afraid, you think about yourself, you'll disappear. The only way is love.
Thank you. So this concept gives so much hope for our future, for humanity, for future generations. This idea of paradism is the answer to all our issues today. Transitioning from fear to love is very, very inspiring. Thank you so much, both of you, Jarel.
Thank you,
Sylvain,
Shanti.
You're
today.
welcome. It's been a pleasure.
And spreading this information that can save humanity, because fear will lead us to destruction and love will lead us to paradise. Thank you so much.
Thank
I know you're
you.
kind of spread around the planet. So beautiful afternoon to you, Jarel, and beautiful morning to you, Sylvain. Thank you, Elsie.
And good night to you, Shanti.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be with you today.
Okay. Bye-bye.